Call the meeting to order at this time. First thing we have tonight is a public hearing. Mr. Stoltz.
Thank you, Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing with respect to certain annexation filed by Justin Hunt to annex 990 Steel Road into the city of Fort Oglethorpe. And in addition, this is a public hearing for a zoning to rezone from R1 to R5, multifamily zoning by Justin Hunt at 990 Steel Road. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak either for or against the annexation or the zoning? And if there is, I'd like for you to come up, sign your name, and then you'll be allowed to speak either for or opposed the annexation or the zoning, or both. And if anyone else decides they want to speak after these initial 5, just let us know. Jason Hughes, if you'd come up, sir. There at the podium, sir. If you would introduce yourself as we are recording.
Okay. My name is Jason Hughes. I reside at 9 Briarstone Road. I live approximately 40 feet, 50 feet tops from the property being suggested for annexation. I work in an architectural firm, and so I deal with zoning quite a bit. I deal with home design quite a bit and everything that goes into this. And I oppose this proposition to rezone. I feel like being that close to the road, I'm already subjected to enormous amount of road traffic that has doubled since I've owned that property. It's been about 10 years since I've lived there, maybe 11, and it's at least doubled. And to add more homes and to do it in the manner of trying to go to an R5 and approximately building about 6 homes per acre, to me, that doesn't sound like good quality homes or housing, and I personally don't want my property value to be decreased. We already have a set of apartments on Steel Road that are subpar as far as I'm concerned. They're definitely contractor grade, and I don't want to see anything else built like that on our road. Most of us bought homes and stuff out there because it wasn't busy, it wasn't high density, or even medium density. It was very low density. So that just, for me, I just totally object this. And I think other people have also mentioned too that a traffic study needs to be done. I think before this goes any further, to examine how much traffic is there now. People use it quite a bit, and even more so once if I-75 has a wreck. A lot of people use Mac Smith. People who use Mac Smith also use Steel Road a lot. And it's not too bad in the middle of the day or in the middle of the night, but definitely during your traffic hours, it's more than it should be on that road. And the intersection of Mac Smith and Steel Road has been unacceptable for a while, but will be even more so adding more homes. The turning ability and radius where that junction is unacceptable. and has been. I think everybody's had problems with it. There's people that have driven off into the ditches and had to be towed out. So more homes, more traffic, not what I'm interested in. Thank you.
Mr. Kenneth?
I'm Ken Tutors. I live in 242 Applebrook with my wife Pat, and I would like to ditto what that young man said also. The roadway, you're supposed to have a 40-foot right-of-way, a total 40-foot right-of-way, and 22 feet of paved road. That's the pavement between the white line on the right and the white line on the left. Steel Road has 19 feet of pavement at the widest point. 17 feet of pavement at the narrowest point, where the pavement on either side of the road has fallen off into the ditch, more or less. At the shoulders, it should have a shoulder. Don't have a sidewalk. Should have a shoulder on it. And at one point, the shoulder is the drop off of the shoulder is like 2 feet. And at the furthest point, the drop off of the shoulder is 4 feet. Easily, it cannot accept, there's no way it could accept like a tractor trailer truck. There's no way two tractor trailer trucks could pass on that, on that road, period. The other point that I like to make is there's no traffic light, and then the turning radius down, like that gentleman said, down where you turn in is there's a drop off about at least 5 feet in that. So those are my reasons that I would like to oppose.
Thanks, sir. Daniel? I'm not going to pronounce your last name.
Just like it's spelled.
Yeah, I'd mess it up no matter what. If you would, give your full name.
All right, my name is Daniel Regnitz, and I live on Aviation Drive, right off of Steel Road. So to compound what the two gentlemen before me have said, not only is there a traffic problem, they're about to build like 120-ish homes behind Aviation in a new lot. So that's going to make traffic even worse. Granted, those are single-family homes, where this would be more of a, I guess, apartment type living if it was rezoned. But traffic is awful. In the mornings, going to work, you can wait 15, 20 minutes without moving, just because Max Smith is backed up, Steel Road is backed up. So a lot of what he said is what I came here to say as well. So thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Justin?
I'd like to address a couple things first.
If you would, state your name.
My name is Justin Hunt.
Thanks, sir.
What I have over there is 18 acres. I'm proposing 60 homes, 60 lots. That actually comes up to about 3.5 homes per acre. It's quite a bit less than I think maybe what he was thinking. Definitely will not be apartments. I think somebody else said that. It's not going to be apartments. I'm in the business of building homes and selling them, and that's what I'm planning on doing. Lived there for 20 years, on or beside Max Smith Road. Own more property than anybody in the room on Steel Road. I'm on it more than anybody in the room on Steel Road. I'm on it, sometimes 15, 20 times a day. I'd love to see something done to the road. I'd love it. I'd love to see something done to the intersection. It'd be wonderful. I actually own the property to the east side of Max Smith Road. Would be willing to donate it if that would help the city do something there, to get something done, a roundabout, red light, something, three-way stop even, just whatever it takes. Trying to think if there's anything else. I have talked to the school superintendent for West Side and for LFO. They love it. They love the fact that we're going to bring in more kids. They said, bring as many as I can bring. They have plenty of room. Especially for the type of homes that we're talking about building. We're talking about building 1,500 to 2,000 square foot homes. I mean, they're going to be some pretty nice homes, pretty nice subdivision. So that's all I can think of right now, unless there's anything else.
Come on, baby.
My name's Phyllis Williams, and I've lived on Steel Road for 52 years, so I've seen things change over the years. Some changes are good and some are not good. I think we should present you people with some numbers from the schools about the influx in those schools, because I've got a grandson in one of those schools, and I can tell you now, they talk about the crowded part of it. I don't know what the numbers are, but I can tell you I will get them. And there can be a study done on Steel Road, because 20 years ago, when Fort Oglethorpe tried to annex us, the Department of Transportation come out and put 2 counters at each end of Steel Road. These people haven't told you, but Steel Road is only 1 mile and 1/10 long. That's all it is. So we need to think about what is going in. And I will tell you, I'm not against home building at all. There is no problem with me and contractors. My problem is with me and boards that approve things and just go, don't get no counts, don't do anything in order to let the sprawl kind of even out, because us that have been on that road for a long time have suffered with traffic. And my problem too is I have neighbors that are now having storm water problems that they've never had until all that building out there. And actually, I think y'all all know that it's against the law to turn your water on other people. And I went down and pulled the GSI map on Mr. Abercrombie's property a long time ago. And there is wetlands back there on that property, and that's what I would like to know, because it connects to North Avenue on the low side, and that is not a real good place to be when you're on the low side of that. People that are on my side of the street are on the low side. Right now my driveway's standing almost full of water. And more houses, that water's got to come off of roofs, people, and it has to go somewhere. So that's just my thing for y'all. Y'all should help us get all these numbers and get them in line before you approve anything. Thank you.
Is there anyone else here tonight that would like to speak either for or against the annexation or zoning issue before the council? Yes, sir, come up. Please come up to the podium. I'm going to ask you to state your name.
Jason Hughes.
Yes, sir.
I would like to either hear from Mr. Hunt or even the board as to why we need to go R5 on this property. Because I realize you think my numbers are wrong, but that's beside the point. You're talking 60 homes on 18 acres. That's roughly, I believe it was, sorry?
313.
Yeah, it's roughly 13,000 square feet per house. Okay, and R1 is 10,000 square feet. Most of the setbacks are very similar from R1 to R5 or whatever RE is right now. My point is, why do we need to go to R5? Why do we need to give him the ability to build whatever he wants and not keep him at the R1 or whatever he should be? So I'd like to hear from one of you all as to why we need to change the zoning. I think most of us would like to know. Thank you.
Mr. Hunt, would you like to speak again, sir?
Yes.
All right.
My name's Justin Hunt. The reason for the R5 zoning is pretty simple. R1 requires you to put a 70-foot wide lot. R5 requires you a 50-foot wide lot. I propose 55-foot wide lots, but that is the reason for the R5. The amount of square footage per lot is the same. All you have to have is 7,000 square feet on R3 or R5. So the reason for the R5 is these narrower lots. They're narrower but deeper lots than R3.
Yes, ma'am, if you would come up and sign your name.
Thank you.
Now, go to the podium and state your name for us, please.
I'm Sharice Miller, and I live in Catoosa County. Have you all notified the county, Catoosa County, of this annexation? Do I get an
Not
answer
to my
or not?
knowledge, but we would not have to notify them.
You don't have to notify them?
Would not have to notify them if we're annexing a piece of property.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else want to speak either for or against the annexation or rezoning of property?
Mr. Stoltz, if I might interrupt just a minute. Ms. Wallace, are you here? I noticed you're on our agenda under citizens petitions and requests, and it looks like you are addressing this issue. Would you like to do it now prior to the council voting on it? If you wait until, you certainly will be welcome to speak at the end too, but it would be after the fact that the council has voted on what you're wanting to speak about. I didn't know if you were aware of that or not.
I wasn't aware of that.
Ms. Wallace, could I get you to sign in,
Sure.
please? If you would state your name, please. Thank you, ma'am.
My name is Sandra Wallace, and I am a resident of Applebrook. I'm also a member of the Board of Directors for Applebrook Homeowners Association. Some of the things I want to cover are just a few facts. May not be exactly accurate, but they're close. Communities that were developed. In 2003, we had Briarstone, which added 58 townhomes. 2005, Applebrook, 98 condos. 2009, Sunrise Meadows, 200 homes. Aviation Drive, 11 homes. 2016, 15 apartment units. Now we're up to 382 more homes that were developed within that time period. 990 Steel Road, approximately 50 or more. So let's just take the number 50. Now we're up to 432 homes. Now let's factor in another development project that is still in the process of being approved. Let's say it's 103 homes. This development and Mr. Hunt's development are already going to add to an existing problem that Steel Road and Mac Smith has. And this is major problems. This isn't a minor thing, and it's been going on for years. I've lived in Applebrook 4 years. It has been a problem. So before that, I'm sure it was a problem also. When you add 382 homes, now you're adding 50 or more, 432. That's a big addition, we have adding 103, which is another project, just pulling out those figures, could be more. We're up to 535 homes. 535 times 1.5 vehicles. Most people do have 2 vehicles. We'll take 1.5. That's 802.5 vehicles. All right, let's go back to the figure. We have 2 vehicles per household. That is 1,070 more cars that are going to be on Steel Road from the time these units were developed in 2003 up until this point. Now, let's take the daily travel on Steel Road. That includes to and from work, doctor's appointments, shopping. We take the figures 1,070 and we multiply it times 4 times on Steel Road or Mac Smith. That's going and coming. We're up to 4,280 times that road's going to be traveled. These are numbers that do not include traffic for the church members on Steel Road, the buses, anyone visiting, deliveries. This daily traffic turning onto Mac Smith and travel on Steel Road, I have personally waited for cars turning left or right to have no more traffic so that I can turn out onto Mac Smith Road safely. And I think the issue has been addressed that you have to swing out to turn out on these roads. You even have to swing out and get very close to the cars that are on Steel Road if you're turning from Mac Smith. It's a dangerous area. I think a traffic light and possibly some reconstruction of those roads to give an allowance of more that will stop endangering the safety of not only the people, the persons driving the car, but the personal property that's caused by having an accident. I personally saw an accident and the car flipped. And this was from Steel Road to Mac Smith. I'd also like to address a little bit because of these issues, and it was brought up a little earlier about the stormwater drainage. You're going to add 153 or more homes to be developed in this area. There's already a storm water problem in this area. On Steel Road, at Applebrook, on further down, there is a problem. Our retention pond is not even flowing the way it should anymore. We have standing water in our retention pond that actually covers up the drains. So there is a problem. I would like for y'all to consider these issues. 153 more being developed, and that's probably low numbers here, is going to cause more of a major problem that already exists. I would like to find out if the council, if the city manager's budget has anything in it for budgeting any kind of repairs, any kind of projects that are in the future for 2018, 2019, that can address these concerns that all these homeowners have, not only with traffic, but with our stormwater. Anyone living in that area has been faced with these issues. And I want to thank you and hope this is something that y'all do take in consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else that'd like to speak either for or against the annexation or zoning? Mr. Hunt?
No.
Come up.
Justin Hunt. I just want to address a couple of things that she was saying. First, the traffic. Like I said, I'm on Steel Road a lot. Sometimes 15, 20 times a day. Most of the time, I can pull in one of the homes that I own in the driveway and back out on the Steel Road. Most of the time. Granted, in the evenings, when it, during traffic hours, it's not very good. Well, you're actually wrong. So, as far as stormwater goes, I actually have to abide by drawings that are regulated and stamped by the Georgia EPD. I have to do exactly what they tell me to do on all that stuff. As far as their ponds go, I don't know anything about it. All their water will actually come onto me, as far as Applebrook goes. I won't be putting anything on them. So, I just want to address that.
Anyone else want to address the council with respect to this open meeting on annexation or zoning? Yes, sir, if you would come up.
My name is Gerald. State your name. State your name.
My name is Daryl Dezek, and I'm also a resident at Applebrook. Just two short things I want to say. On Steel Road, and by the way, I'm a member of them about 2 years ago, but I've known people there a year before, and I know there's been 2 accidents in the last 3 years at the intersection of Steel Road and Max Smith. The traffic, as this one gentleman says, is not too bad in speed on Steel Road, but on Max Smith, they are not driving at 35 miles an hour. They are moving at around 50 miles an hour, and there's some big trucks that come through there. And I want to tell you, there are many of us senior citizens, if we get T-boned, we're dead. We are dead. If we can't control that speed on Max Smith, we're in real trouble. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to speak either? Mr. Hunt, if you would, state your full name when you...
I'm Thad Hunt. I'm the developer of Briarstone subdivision, which several of you people in here bought homes from me. I just want to address a couple things. And number one is the intersection of Max Smith and Steel Road. If anything needs to get accomplished tonight, it's that intersection needs to get fixed. Okay? I own the property on the east side, all that land, over 200 acres over there on that side of the road of Max Smith. I'm willing to donate that property, whatever we need to do. There have been accidents there. My wife Gloria had an accident there about 3 years ago. She got T-boned there. 3 years, she's still here, but about 3 years ago she had an accident there. It's a terrible place. Any of you people been down through there, you know that. That needs to get fixed. More than anything else that we're going to do here tonight, that needs to get repaired. We need to take care of that issue. If we take care of that issue, the traffic's going to be a whole lot better. It really needs to be a 3-way stop or a roundabout, something to slow the traffic down on Max Smith. I'm part of the problem on Max Smith too, because I developed the commercial subdivisions up there. We sold several, lots up through there. And it's just going to continue to get more and more traffic there, so we need to address that. If we could slow that traffic down with a 3-way stop or a roundabout, that'd be great. I'd be more happy to do anything I could there. As far as stormwater on this particular piece of property, I've been doing this a long time, dealing with development and everything for 30, 35 years. The state will not allow us to dump any more water off our property. It has to slowly trickle off our property through a series of detention ponds and whatnot. So the issue of correcting stormwater is not going to get any better. However, in this particular case, it will get better for Applebrook. Applebrook, yeah, that water does back up at Applebrook because it can't get through the pipes of Steel Road. One of the reasons it can't get through the pipes of Steel Road is because over on the south side of Steel Road, decide he's going to develop. It's full of trees and brush and trash and everything that's accumulated over there for years. So the pipes are only working at about half stage over there, the pipe that goes underneath Steel Road. So when he goes in there and cleans all that out, that pipe is going to handle twice as much water that goes through there, and that's going to fix that problem over there at Apple Brook. I don't think it needs a larger pipe. I think the pipe that's there now will handle the water that's over there. It's just that it's half clogged up right now. And as far as apartments, let me reassure everybody that just because it's R5 zoning, and R5 zoning does allow apartments, that this development is not going to have apartments. It will not. I can guarantee you it will not have any apartments over there. There won't be any townhomes over there. This is just simply single-family houses. It's zoned R1 in the county now. It's going to have single-family houses over there because it's zoned for single-family houses in the county. The only reason we're looking for the R5, two reasons. Number one, we want to be in the city of Fort Oglethorpe because everything we do is in the city of Fort Oglethorpe. Briarstone's in the city of Fort Oglethorpe. My Mack Smith Road property, I'm having it annexed as the city of Fort Oglethorpe as we develop it. There's just so much. We're Fort Oglethorpe people. We've lived in Fort Oglethorpe since the 90s. We don't currently live there. I voted Constitution Hall, so everything I've done for the last 25 years has really been kind of in the city of Fort Oglethorpe. We want to deal with the city of Fort Oglethorpe. The R5 zoning, like Justin stated, all it does is allow for the lots to be 55 foot wide, or even down to 50. He wants to be 55 foot wide, which is more than what Huntley Meadows is. If you guys have driven through Huntley Meadows, their lots are 50 foot wide. Yeah, it's horrible. So, but that is the trend in development now. If you go to any new developments in any state in the United States, in this price range houses, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see the narrower lots with the long and narrow lots. That's just the way the infrastructure cost on building roads is just astronomical. You cannot build roads and have wide lots like you used to. It just can't be done. So that's basically all I've got to say.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to speak for or against? Yes, ma'am. Come on up. State your name again.
Phyllis Williams, and I know Mr. Hunt, if they're contractors and they're a lot smarter than I am, but I've been in that house 52 years, and till all that building came around me, I can tell you, there's big old pipes under my driveway, and I don't know the inches, but they put them in there like that. They carried the water until we started getting on the south side all of that runoff. And like I told you a while ago, my driveway now stands in water a fourth of the way up. Now, I'm just a dumb old woman, but I know when my yard is wet and when it is not. And I've been there a long time, and I could walk out my driveway in a 100-year storm, and there would be no water, but there is now. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Anyone else want to speak either for or against the annexation or rezoning before the council? Mayor, it appears no one else desires to speak, and the public hearing is closed.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Thank all you folks for coming. At this time, we'll call the regularly scheduled meeting to order. Mr. Rogers, if you would, do the invocation. Mr. Childs, lead us in the pledge.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for all you've done for us. Thank you for our city. Thank you for the citizens of our city. Lord, give us wisdom as we conduct the business of the city. Help us to do the right thing. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is the reading of the minutes of previous council meeting. If members of the council have had an opportunity to review these, I will entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda is communications from the mayor. Just like to welcome everyone here tonight. It's probably the biggest crowd we've had in 2 years. Glad to see everybody. Next item on the agenda is zoning matters. We have none. Next item on the agenda is ordinances. Item number 1 is third and final reading of ordinance number 2017-07, permit fee ordinance. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance to set permit fees, whereas the duly elected governing authority of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia is authorized under Article 9, Section 2, Paragraph 3 of the Constitution of the State of Georgia, the official code of Georgia annotated 3635-3, and the charter of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, to adopt reasonable ordinances to protect and improve the public health, safety, welfare, and aesthetics of the citizens of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and whereas the duly elected governing authority of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia is vested in the city council composed of a mayor and 5 council members, and whereas that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict hereby are repealed, and whereas that if any part of the ordinance shall be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair the other parts of the ordinance, unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent on the part to be held invalid or unconstitutional. Now therefore is hereby ordained by the governing authority of the city of Fort Oglethorpe that the attached and foregoing shall constitute the amended permit fee schedule as required by the charter of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Section 615. This ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and city council. Permit fees are attached and been available in the clerk's office since first reading.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. I have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Ms. Stinnett?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 2 under ordinances, third and final reading, annexation, ordinance number 2017-08, Justin Hunt, 990 Steel Road, Rossville, Georgia. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2017-08, annexation, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof, Section 1, that the following property owned by Justin Hunt and HTH Development known as 990 Steel Road is annexed into the city of Fort Oglethorpe. Said property is particularly described on the annexation ordinance. That this ordinance take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council. Said the described property has been available in the clerk's office since the first reading.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford.
How long, just a question, how long would it take, or the resource, maybe Commissioner Long, on doing a traffic count?
Jeff, would you like to
Mr.
come
Long.
up?
Get a good average count, a week to 2 weeks usually what we'll leave the counters out for, and to get one.
Okay.
And what do we need to do to look at Steel Road and Max Smith to change it?
Best thing would be just get the engineer to look at it and give a recommendation to us to better do an improvement on that intersection.
Justin, let me ask this. Are you willing to, willing to wait a little while so we can see on the traffic count, maybe 1 or 2, 3 weeks traffic count, and see what we can use with the land that y'all had offered to see what we can come up with for the traffic situation?
I'd be willing to donate the land.
Right, but I guess what I'm trying to ask.
Can you postpone it till we get that traffic count back? Is what he's saying.
Table this.
Well, let him answer the question.
I would rather not.
It's just 2 weeks.
I wasn't to donate the land to do it. That's all I can do. To fix the intersection.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table this vote until we get the counts and take a look at that and then bring it back up.
How long do you say it'd take, Mr. Long?
We can we'll put it out in the morning, and then we can have it for you there the daily, and it'll be an hourly count on it, and we can have it to you for the next meeting.
Because if we
Are you
table
still
it, it
willing
will
on the
be on.
donating of the land to?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's what I just want to make sure, on that, so what we can do on that.
We'll put them up in the morning.
So what do we do?
I've got a motion to table item number 2 under ordinances. Do I have a second?
Second, sir.
I have a motion and a second to table item number 3 under ordinances. Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
No.
Miss James?
Yes.
Miss Stinnett?
Yes.
4-1, item number 2 will be tabled until the next scheduled council meeting, which is, I don't have a calendar. Who's got one? Next item on the agenda, item number 3, third and final reading of zoning, ordinance number 2017-09, rezoned to R5 residential multifamily zoning, Justin Hunt, 990 Steel Road, Rossville, Georgia. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2017-09, rezoning, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by the authority thereof. Section 1, that the following property owned by Justin Hunt and HTH Development, known as 990 Steel Road, Rossville, Georgia, 30741, is hereby rezoned to an R5 residential multifamily zoning. Said property is particularly described in the attachment as Exhibit A, which has been available in the clerk's office since the first reading of this ordinance. This ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. I will entertain a motion to table item number 3. Since it's not in the city, we can't vote to rezone.
I'll make a motion.
I got a motion to have a second, have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Ms. Stinnett?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Motion to table carries 5-0. Item number 4, under ordinances, second reading of ordinance number 2017-10, fiscal year 2018 budget. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance to approve the 2018 fiscal year budget for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, whereas the duly elected governing authority of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia is authorized under Article 9, Section 2, Paragraph 3 of the Constitution of the state of Georgia, the official code of Georgia annotated 3635-3, and the charter of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, to adopt reasonable ordinances to protect and improve the public health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and whereas the duly elected governing authority for the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia is vested in the city council composed of a mayor and 5 council members, and whereas that all ordinances or parts of ordinance in conflict herewith are are hereby repealed, and whereas if any part of this ordinance shall be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair the other parts of the ordinance unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Therefore, it is ordained the governing authority of the city of Fort Oglethorpe that the following shall constitute the fiscal year 2018 budget. This ordinance shall take effect on January 1st, 2018. This is the second reading.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Item number 5 under ordinances, first reading of ordinance number 2017-11, 2017 budget amendment. Mr. Stoltz.
Ordinance number 2017-11, an ordinance to amend the 2017 fiscal year budget ordinance number 2016-17 for the city of Fort Oglethorpe. Whereas the duly elected governing authority of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia is authorized under Article 9, Section 2, Paragraph 3 of the Constitution of the state of Georgia, the official code of Georgia annotated 3635-3, and the charter of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, to adopt reasonable ordinances to protect and improve the public health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and whereas the duly elected governing authority of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia is vested in the city council composed of a mayor and 5 council members. Now therefore it is hereby ordained by the governing authority of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, that the following shall constitute the amended 2017 fiscal year budget. This ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by mayor and council. This is the first reading, Mayor, of the 23rd day of October 2017. Said amended budget is available in the clerk's office.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Next item on the agenda is resolutions. We have none. Next item on the agenda is unfinished business. We have none. Next item on the agenda is reading of the city clerk of any communications. We have none. Next item on the agenda is new business. Article 1, proposed approval, $6,000 to repair Walmart pump station. Mr. Parker.
What I'm requesting is to hire RW contractors to perform repairs inside the wet well of the lift station. The wet well of the station is a little over 30 feet deep, and it's simply out of range for us with our equipment and our staff to be able to safely make these repairs.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Have a second. Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Article number 2 under new business, proposed approval of employee health and dental insurance. Ms. Simpkins.
Thank you, Mayor. Russ Blakely and Associates represents the city in the employee benefit marketplace, including health, vision, and dental. The 2018 renewal for health insurance originally included an 11% rate increase. However, we were able to negotiate a reduced rate increase of 1.08% with Cigna. Some minor changes in the healthcare plan include slight changes in the deductible, maximum out-of-pocket, and ER visits. There's no rate increase for dental and vision insurance provided by Guardian proposed for 2018. The total cost to the city is approximately $1,500,000. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms. Simpkins. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 3 under new business, proposed approval of gym change orders. Mr. Long.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I have for you tonight, should have a list of the change orders for the gym renovation that's going on there on 2nd Street at the building. There was some unknowns, and then once we got in there, there's some changes that need to be made, and which it used to be a machine shop, so we've had some paint issues and different things, but there's a total of 10 change orders. This should be the biggest part of them. We've got down to most of the existing building that was already there. It's probably at 80% on it, so don't foresee any more or very few more, and the total of all the change orders is $58,158, and it's with the general contractor, Robert Roberts LLC, out of Chattanooga.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Have a motion to approve?
Motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Do we know about what the total construction cost has been, what the total's going to be for the gym
The
itself?
initial bid was $611,000, so, and then with this added on top of it. We've got a few minor amounts for some of the concrete testing that we paid for rather than going in and being a markup through the contractor. We run it straight through the city with the testing company.
So that's included with the 600?
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 4 under new business, proposed approval to purchase gym equipment. Mr. Long.
Yes, this is for the items. This will be your portable basketball goals that will be there due to the ceiling height and not being a new design building there. You couldn't reinforce it enough for that. And the bleachers, the score tables, basically everything needed there, the benches for the team players. The total amount of the equipment, got 3 quotes. The low quote was $34,121.01, and the Port Oglethorpe Rec Association has said that they would put $10,000 towards the purchase of the equipment, so we'll reimburse the city, so it'd actually be $24,000 out of the city funds.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
I have a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I got a question. Is there any places that you could go to get any grants? Is that available for items like this, or get some of the bigger industrial customers around here to pitch in a little bit on this?
No, I mean, we can look and see, and I mean, maybe get reimbursement or put it back towards it there, but, as far as grants, they're pretty much on
restricted.
They've been, pulled them out and set them more prioritized sewers and things like that anymore.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Item number 5 under new business, proposed approval for the award of Highway 41 Phase 1 sewer project. Mr. Parker.
Okay, we received bids for the Highway 41 sewer project in September. Opened the bids, and the low bid we received, actually we only received one bid. It was $1.9 million to do this project, which exceeded our current budget availability of funds. So we have negotiated with the contractor and through our engineer and have made some changes to the project in addition to some negotiations for reductions in cost of the project. And we are recommending to award to Brown Brothers the Highway 41 sewer project for $1,398,499.75. This will get us to the other side of Interstate 75.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 6 under new business, proposed approval of authorization to apply for GFA loan for sewer projects. Mr. Parker.
Okay. With the awarding of the Highway 41 project And the additional projects that we have in front of us also relates to the Chattanooga intergovernmental agreement where we have to perform the flow monitoring. Once that's completed, the SSES on the sewer system. We have right now two pump station upgrades and a rehab project designed. They have not been placed out for bid due to the financing. So what we are requesting is authorization to, I've talked with Ms. Simpkins in reference to this, she's talked to GFA today. We are requesting authorization to apply to GFA for a GFA loan. It'll be a low interest loan, and in some cases, if it's wastewater related, they will forgive some of the principal if it's a qualified project. We won't know any of those details till we sit down and discuss with GFA all these details. And so what we're just asking for your authorization to apply. Now, any actual loan will have to come back to y'all for approval. GFA will require a resolution from y'all before they will actually, close out the loan and let us borrow the money. But before we could even just start negotiating and talking with them, we come to y'all for your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second? Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Is this we've already missed the day for 2018 to get your GFA numbers in, so this will be for 2019?
No, ma'am, it'll be for current GFA rounds.
Will we meet the
past
date, though?
several years, we've submitted pre-applications every year, even though we weren't borrowing money or even seeking to borrow money. We have always applied everything toward GFA. The city, due to the 5-year planning and the service delivery strategy, all these things that the city of Fort Oglethorpe has done, has kept the city eligible for GFA. So we don't have to wait for another cycle. We've always kept our paperwork up with them, so in the event that we needed to borrow money, we would.
So we're not restricted by the dates. Okay. Good.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Item number 7, under new business, proposed approval, Veterans Park location on city property. Ms. Stinney.
Thank you, sir. Council, ladies and gentlemen, you might recall several meetings ago, we did approve a creation of a Veterans Council. That council did meet for a planning meeting on Monday, October 16, and it was decided at that meeting that we would follow a suggestion previously made by Jeff Long, our Director of Parks, for planting the trees in the Claiborne Road park that is located there now. This is off of Shelby Street in Fort Oglethorpe, close to Fire Hall. The conditions, as you can see in your packet, you'll see, and ladies and gentlemen, several are floating around up there. You can see that this park has very swampy grounds. The photos that are in your packet were made just about 3:30 today. I had Senior Forester Joe Burgess come from the Georgia Forestry Commission to look at these grounds. He said that the reason the trees that are currently there are dying, 2 of which are already dead, and Director Long said they would be removed, is because it is swampy grounds, and those trees were not made to absorb the water. We would be planting weeping willows, which would help with that area. It will absorb the water, helping to get rid of the swampiness and make it a usable area. The next photo you can see, look on the back of yours, is a marker, a granite marker that we would be placing at the foot of each tree, beginning with World War I, going through the Middle East conflicts, as well as a Killed in Action, POW MIA tree. These markers would signify the memorial of those wars. To raise money, we would have stepping stones. These are 12 by 12 stones. It's not the general brick markers that you see in other places. These are 12 by 12s, and they would be placed out. Proposal for a future big flagpole that would be located there. And we realize that these are 3 to 4 years to complete this park. Director Long has provided for you the GIS map showing the placement as he placed these items in the park. The next pages you'll see, cities our size, smaller and bigger, all have Veterans Memorial Parks. You can look at some of those parks. Some of those cities are 4 square miles. They have Veterans Memorial Parks. We would also be honoring several of these men who passed away due to World War I. Of course, Fort Oglethorpe was not a city at that time, even. So most of these will say Ringgold. Ringgold was the major city here at that time. Notice in your GMA, this is a publication that we receive as elected officials. Right here it talks about Waynesboro with their Veterans Park. I've provided a lot of people with these, tracing the steps. These are published and put out all over Catoosa County, North Georgia area. You notice on the back, it talks about the little town of Somerville. Their park is featured on this publication. Here's the best part of this, ladies and gentlemen. This will cost the citizens of Fort Oglethorpe $0. Zero. All funds are being raised by the Veterans Council and through donations. The park cleanup, we're going to be assisting the city guys and helping them maintain and keep this park a place of peace and tranquility to honor veterans from all wars as this becomes our memorial park. We are dedicated to carry this for the next 3, 4, whatever years it takes to establish this park. This is a veteran and citizen constructed council. It does not pertain to any specific veteran organization. If it were church, we call it non-denominational. So everyone is invited and welcome to be members of this organization. All you have to do is love veterans, respect them for what they stand, and be a part. No one can do everything, but everyone can do something. I've had people say, Paula, I can't dig a hole to plant a tree. Well, that's okay, you don't have to. There are others. You may be someone who scatters mulch, or other projects that we have forthcoming as well. Everyone has something to give. Volunteer, become a member, and make your gift something special. Ladies, gentlemen, I thank you for your vote.
Thank you, Ms. Dennett. Have a motion to approve?
I make a motion.
Have a motion, do I have a second? Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda, city manager's report, Ms. Simpkins.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. I'd like to first say thank you to city staff for repairing a 6-inch water main under pressure servicing the hospital on October 4th. Gas company was doing work in the area, and our folks were able to go out and repair it without turning off water service. So we're proud of them, and we're thankful for what they do. Also, the Redbud Community Development Block Grant Project is complete. The results of the project include 2,400 linear feet of 8-inch sewer main on Redbud Avenue, and it also includes 20 low to moderate income connections to city sewer. There are 36 total connections that are available as a result of that project. Also, the gymnasium is coming along nicely. We We have flooring to be installed during the month of November, and the final walkthrough is scheduled for December 10th. Fort Town and Cedar have been milled and repaved with the LBIG grant funds. And just to announce to everyone that mosquito spraying has ended for the year, and we will soon begin city pickup service. More information will be available on our website. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Simpkins. Next item on the agenda, city council comments. Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to thank everybody that came out. Really appreciate all you folks coming out and letting us know how you feel about stuff going on in the community. It really helps us to get the input, and we love having you here. So hopefully you'll come back a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Mr. Crawford?
Yeah, I'd like to kind of echo what Councilman Rogers said, and I'd like to say I know sometimes y'all are out there and it don't feel like y'all are part of the city because y'all are kind of out there sometimes, but we know you're out there, and we like to hear your concerns and address them. And also, I know the Hunt family, and they are well-known developers, and they do a good job with their property as well. So, but like Mr. Hunt said, we want to make sure that the safety of everybody is first, and we want to work towards that. But we do want to continue growing our community and making it better and bringing in young families as well. Also, I'd like to end by saying I know this is hard for a Braves fan, but go Dodgers, and we're proud of one of our own, Rick Honeycutt. He's starting the World Series starting Tuesday night, and just wishing him the best. And I know him and his family are very excited, so go Rick and go Dodgers.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Mr. Child?
I just want to echo, thank everybody for coming out. We've got a great city, and we are going to grow, and hopefully we're going to grow in the right position, making the right choices. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Child. Ms. Bennett?
Yes, sir. I won't mess up an opportunity to have this many people with whom I can speak right now. I guess everyone noticed that council has the red ribbons on, and a few of you I have had the honor of placing a red ribbon on as well. Red Ribbon Week, easy for me to say, began in 1985. It's an important time for you to take advantage of the opportunity to speak to youth with whom you are related, or through whatever. Take this pledge, wear the ribbon. As parents and citizens, we talk to our children and the children in our lives about the dangers of drug abuse. We will set clear rules for our children about not using drugs. We will set a good example for our children by not using illegal drugs or medicine without a prescription. We will monitor our children's behaviors. That's always something, if you see something change, investigate. They're our children, they're the future. Monitor the children's behaviors and enforce appropriate consequences so that our rules are respected. We will encourage family and friends to follow the same guidelines to keep children safe from substance abuse. I hope and pray everyone will take this opportunity to do so. Also want to bring to everyone's attention that January 1st, 2018, Congress approved an increase in TRICARE costs for military retirees and their families who enter military after that time. Veterans are asking that you take this opportunity, contact your senators and your representatives to ask them to reject any proposal that would result in TRICARE fees increasing so that veterans can continue to serve without having the fear of not being able to afford medical care. I hope everyone has a very safe, healthy, and happy Halloween. Keep the children safe around your home and area. They're our future and our #1 priority. Thank you all for coming this evening. If I can be of service, please do not hesitate to call. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Ms. Bennett. Ms. James?
I'm glad Paula brought up the young people because I'm excited about this gymnasium. I think it's another positive thing in this city for the young folks to go to. You've got a lot of positive influences, a lot of coaches, teachers, parents around here that want the children of Fort Oglethorpe to go somewhere where it's safe, and this will be a good, safe place for them to be, and it's just another way for them to be out. And then, he's talking about, didn't bring up the Cubbies, but I'm gonna bring up Lakeview, the Lady Warriors softball team. They are number 5 in the state. So we are very proud of these young ladies and these young men. Football team is such a Lakeview. So just next time you see one of them, tell them you're proud of them because they do a great job and they are a good example for others in this area. And we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. James. Next item on the agenda is citizens petitions and requests. Ms. Wallace, did you have your time or would you like to come again?
I said what I did.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Wallace. Next item on the agenda is executive session. We do not have anything for executive session. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second, sir.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.